Hey guys, this is FNGR. Special thanks to Lilac Galaxy, Keychi FIM, and Death Alchemist. I'm glad I got to have on Empty Brook, aka Ponder Sprocket. If for whatever reason this is the last member of BOP I ever have on, this has been a wonderful way to close a very interesting and vast book of boundless talent. I wish I had something more important or profound here to say. Thank you, Ponder.
Okay, now try calling Ryan just to see if he's actually here.
Oh god, I'm cold.
You know what? If he didn't want to come here, he didn't want to come here. It's heartbreaking, but life moves on.
I'm the replacement gay, fresh out of the box.
She is. Dulce is just here for the backup recording, so don't freak out.
Yep, okay. We are recording, and I'm going mute.
Excellent, wonderful.
Got my questions pulled up.
Is everybody ready?
Yes.
Ready.
We all coming through good?
I think so.
Wonderful, wunderbar. This is FNGR, welcoming you to another Limbo podcast, joined by the following co-hosts. Lilac Galaxy. Wonderful. That's how I want to start off every podcast. Cameron Death Alchemist.
Ponder Sprinkit, Spronder Rocket, Ponder Sprocket.
I hope that wasn't cringy. This is Keychi FIM. Dulcet Tones, who's quietly sitting in the background, who, God willing, might save this podcast.
Wave hi to us, Dulcet.
Yay. Anyways. And this week's Queen of Limbo, Ponder Sprocket.
Hello, fangirls.
Oh, that's beautiful. I don't know, I've been intimidated to talk to you forever, because I remember the first time I talked to you about it, where Ryan mentioned something, he's like, oh, I'm always worried about pissing off Ponder. And I was like, well, then I should be worried about it, too.
Yeah, that's a thing. Whoops.
Has he pissed you off?
Ironically enough, I'm terrified to get your character drawn. Do you want it that big and buff? And
Oh, I'm good with people drawing Ponder Sprocket in, various ways. Any art of any sort of interpretation of my characters, I'm very happy with.
I will draw them as a string bean.
Yes! Perfect. Brilliant.
Each body ready.
You've been bamboozled.
Speaking of Ponder, where did the idea for, the character come from? And, along with the design and such?
Well, the idea for the character and the design came from very, very different places. Same with the name. The name, I kind of was just fiddling around. I was like, oh, I want a name with 2 words. I want the first thing to end in either an ER or an O, simply because I like words that end in those sounds. And then I just kind of fiddled around. I decided a little more about her backstory. I was like, okay, so she comes from this other dimension where technology and biology are linked together, and she's a police officer, but they're called something different. They'll be called Ponders. And then I just gave her a surname, and I went through 8 completely different designs before I settled on, I'm gonna make her buff, a little bit chubby, Indian, and with giant tits.
Sounds good.
I was thinking about, you know what, I'm going to move right along. Oh, damn, you took out my first 2 questions. You're a dick, Cameron. Who inspires you as an artist?
Goodness. Lots of people, honestly. Probably one of the least known that inspires me is Bite Ghost. She's from DeviantArt, and she does this comic called Backlash with these awesome characters. She has really, really vibrant colors, which I absolutely love. And she has so many different characters. They're all very, very unique and cool in their own ways. And then beyond her, there's the creator of Cybersick, Mark Brooks, blanking, Kirby, Jack Kirby. There we go. Oh, goodness. I can't words today.
You're doing
all
fine.
right.
Yeah, it's an assortment of different artists from all over.
Who's inspired you as a commentator? Then you can go, Cameron.
Oh, Mephistan, actually. His name has been changed now. He's now Professor Magewood. But Mephistan was the first commentator I found, and I binged-watched all of his videos, and I was like, I kind of want to do this now. This seems fun.
Commentator I never heard of. Speaking of going back to artists for a minute, I know you once mentioned the one dude who was known for tracing photos and putting them into comics, and I thought of, hey, Ponder, other than that guy and Rob Liefeld, because it's an obvious choice, what other bad comic artists you would not like and why?
Oh, no. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you assume that I dislike Rob Liefeld? Check your privilege.
You get mad points for that. Not
Rob
because I like Rob
Liefeld-
Liefeld, but because you're different.
Rob Liefeld is an icon of the 90s, which I should specify is one of the most ironically and iconically interesting period in comic books, simply for the shitstorm that it became out of fucking nowhere. He burst onto the scene at a ridiculously young age, and he had such a vastly different style that everybody in the industry wanted to copy him. He's ridiculous. And yeah, his style hasn't really improved over the years. You can see some things that he's gotten better with, but I definitely cannot say that I hate Rob Liefeld. I am somewhat inspired by him to a certain degree. Not artistically, though.
Bravo.
Yeah. For the
Artists
record,
that I do hate, basically just anyone who like traces or passes off other people's work as their own. I hate that fucking shit.
for the record, I don't hate Liefeld. I just thought it was a generic answer, but I'm happy you gave that insight. He's a cool boy, and he made Cable and Deadpool.
I'm going to remember that the next time a comic book discussion comes up, inevitably, Cameron.
On the topic of comics, do you know who Jonan Vasquez is, and do you like his comic books?
I do know who Jonan Vasquez is. I actually have an Invader Zim comic sitting beside me. So,
You nerd.
how you? Actually, yeah, I am a nerd.
Then again, I can't talk. I have the DVDs.
How many boxes of comic books do you have in your house?
Oh, honey. Okay, I've got two long boxes on top of my bed. I have a bunk bed, but the top bunk is just for comics. So I have two full long boxes, one like trundle comic holder thing, which it holds maybe about twice as much as a long box. And then I have 8 cupboards full of comics and about 3 separate piles just scattered around my room.
I would like to see a video of this comic collection someday. That sounds beautiful.
Yeah, Onder's comic collection. Sounds like an idea.
$3,000 to $5,000 total. Oh, and there's like a pile out by the other computers in the hallway.
Speaking of comics, do you have any like favorite superheroes, villains, characters in general?
Absolutely. Like right now, I'm binging Spawn again. I've always been a fan of Spider-Man. I like the X-Men. Although I like classic X-Men a little more than nowadays. I'm having trouble getting into X-Men now.
Did you get into Spawn, by the by?
When I was 8 years old.
Oh, no. I like, what issue? Or do you remember, like, where you popped in at?
What issue? I started from the beginning. I always like starting from the beginning of any sort of comic series, even if it's like a continuation of something else from like issue 1. And a good comic series, if they're starting from an issue 1, they'll be able to introduce new audiences. That's generally how you can tell if a comic's going to be good. It has a long backstory, but there's a new issue 1, and it can open up to new viewers.
Pretty interesting. Out of curiosity, I'm guessing you have a thing for Mysterio?
Oh yeah, Mysterio is definitely my favorite Spider-Man villain.
Oh,
Why is it?
have you ever seen Old Man Logan?
I'm reading it, and I've seen Logan the movie.
Okay, I won't. There's a fun part with Mysterio in that. I'll let you find that on your own.
Yes!
Why is Mysterio, out of curiosity, your favorite? Because I've like always, I liked his design and I liked his illusion stuff, but I never really like read any stories with him. I only remember like reading his first appearance.
I like how ridiculously theatrical he is. That's mostly the biggest thing, because when I imagine villains, there's always like the schemer. There's like, you've got your Doc Ock, who's the master planner. He's got everything sorted out, and he's done all this and blah blah blah. He's planned for every contingency. And then you've got people like Venom and Carnage, who effectively are just going to go out and create havoc. You've got people like the Rhino and Scorpion or whatever. They're just going to be hired as goons to do what goons do. And then you've got Mysterio, who's got his own little agenda. He's kind of a mix of people like Carnage and then people like Doc Ock, where he'll readily create a situation where a lot of horrible, horrible things can happen, but he's planned out everything, and he's so ridiculously flamboyant in the way that he moves and the way that he's drawn. That's how you can tell a good artist is like if they draw Mysterio in a very expressive way, because that's the only thing you can really do with him. He's got a fucking fishbowl on his head.
Yup, he does. Out of curiosity, you ever play the Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions video game?
I've not. I've been wanting to forever, but hobbies are expensive, and my vice of choice is comic books, so.
Good to know. If you could steal one person's talent, who would it be and why?
Some sort of artist from DeviantArt. There's like a wide variety of them, but some of them have amazing digital painting skills. And I'm just sitting there like, how do, Why? Why can't I do? Please let me do. If I could steal any of their talents, I'd be perfectly okay with that. It doesn't have to be someone in particular, just someone who's really good at digital painting.
Here's a fun one. Who's your most pain-in-the-ass customer? And do I break top 10 if I'm not number 1?
You are definitely not my most pain-in-the-ass customer. Pain-in-the-ass customers are generally people that I know in real life, which that's been a problem. Because I'll tell you one instance in particular. I had someone who came up to me and was talking about, oh, you do commissions, blah, blah, blah. So what are your prices? And I gave him the prices, and he leaned in. He's like, oh, so what are your prices for friends?
Oh,
I assumed
I
I
hate
was getting the
people
friend
like
right.
I almost punched him.
Oh, Jesus.
And speaking of commissions, did you enjoy drawing Ryan as a trap? No, not a trap, so to speak, just like in all the womanly, girly clothing with Hunter tattooed on his chest.
Cross-dressing.
Oh, that wasn't even a commission. I just did that for shits and giggles.
Well, on that note there, who's your favorite Rule 63 then?
Favorite Rule 63.
Gender swap.
Like in the commentary community or just in general?
What, both?
God, I don't know. I'm like generally okay with people of either gender.
Well, no. If you're doing this specifically to screw with somebody who what, like the Dillon and Doodle picture?
Yeah. Well, that got me thinking, like, probably the best one would be, like, Dillon or something. Or just a robot. Though I don't know how he feels about that.
I did actually get something done for Dillon and Doodle. We were sitting in call, and I was like, you know what would be great? Dillon drawn up as Tuxedo Mask, and Doodle drawn up as, like, Sailor Moon. And he's like, I hate you. And I was like, that's a yes. What's your proudest commentary?
Proudest commentary. Maybe the one on Angry John?
Oh,
I don't know.
Harder, or?
Oh, no, that's the one on Just a Robot and Snake. No, the one on Angry John. Angry John was talking about this thing called Com Clinic, which is a blatant scam addressed to people with anxiety disorders. And he kind of just rambles on regarding this 20-minute long video on Com Clinic's website that ultimately ended with, this is a scam, and the response is essentially, no duh.
Yeah, speaking of your commentaries, where'd the idea to do, like, putting speed draws while you're talking come from?
It honestly came out of me trying to be more productive artistically, because I've made no secret about this. There are people in my life who don't really like the fact that I do commentaries. They have openly told me that it's a waste of time and that I shouldn't care about it and blah, 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 despite the fact that I've explained numerous times that it's a hobby and it makes me feel happy. So I decided, you know what? If they're going to bitch and moan because I'm not getting enough artwork done, then I will actively try to get more artwork done as a means of putting it into commentaries. So if I have something that I have to draw, I will live stream it, and then I'll put it in a commentary, and that way I have both of them done.
Is that the same reason why you draw the thumbnails as well?
No, I just draw thumbnails because it's fun.
Best reason.
Damn right. Judging by your... is there a movie from Marvel that you'd like to see that they either haven't announced, but, you know, you're a fan of that series, you're like, I'd like to see Marvel tackle this because, you know, it's just been overlooked for now?
Well, I am looking forward to a Sinister Six movie if they do actually go about and do that. But beyond that, I think I'd be happy with maybe a Spider-Verse movie, as ridiculously disjointed as that would probably be, or a ROM Space Knight movie. Although Marvel, as far as I remember, doesn't have the rights to that anymore, which is a shame.
Who the fuck is Rom Space Knight? That sounds so familiar.
He's got like a box head. He's the one who made Rogue a good person because she absorbed some of his goodness.
Huh. Doesn't ring a bell.
Oh, I thought that was Ms. Marvel. Anyways, let's see.
She absorbed like Miss Marvel's memories and some of her Kree stuff, but she was still kind of bad, and then Rom Space Knight basically fucked her over.
When did you make the transition from like physical drawing art to digital art, and why?
A little before I got my tablet, I had been on DeviantArt for a little while, and I saw everybody doing digital artwork, and I thought the colors were so like vibrant, and at this point, I didn't really understand how to scan things or take pictures of them in a way to make colors stand out, and I didn't really have a whole lot of really, really vibrant colors of my own to work with. So I was like, okay, I'll try going digital. I didn't have a tablet yet at the time. So instead, I would open up my sketches in Microsoft Paint and point by point go around and ink my work that way. And there's still a couple pieces on DeviantArt that are inked that way, and they look absolutely horrible. And then the minute I got a tablet, I was just like, all right, done. It's this forever now.
Have you ever done the, I think it's like the 11-year challenge where you find something you drew like 11 years ago and then redraw it as your skills now?
I did not an 11-year challenge. Most of my artwork from 11 years ago is gone, but I did find a piece from like maybe 7 years ago, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll redraw that, and then I just never did it. So it's mostly just I'm fucking lazy and procrastinate a lot.
You're my fastest artist, don't say that.
Sorry, how long have I been working on this commission? I couldn't quite hear you.
Oh, I was just saying that you're the fastest artist I currently have right now.
It was a joke, honey. It was a joke.
Oh, okay, that's all right. Skype sucks. I can't necessarily count on that.
What does the term dripping bisexual mean?
I imagine it's a bisexual who's really turned on. Beyond that, I couldn't wager a guess.
Yeah, I just remember like after that, you saying that in the one comment section of that one let biphobic lesbian that you did a while ago.
You know what, Cameron? If I were still getting animations for people, that one would have been yours.
Oh, that makes me feel good.
Biphobic lesbian. That's a new one.
Biphobic.
Yeah, funny thing about that, there was this one dude who I followed on Twitter was like, well, why does Bi Visibility Day have to be a thing? And I told him that Ponder's video was like, oh yeah, that's gross. I see that now. Oh yeah, Ponder, other than artists, did you like any specific comic writers? Any favorites?
Not particularly. Everybody's got like one instance where they fuck up super bad. Actually, you know what? Sophie Campbell's been doing an amazing job with Shadow Eyes, so maybe her.
Salad burp. Oh god.
Not bad.
No, it's fine.
What's the most...
What?
Is that just a burp? That killed me dead. What's the most disturbing thing you've seen on YouTube?
God, I've seen a lot of disturbing stuff on YouTube. I'm going to say not some of the things that just personally make me cringe. Maybe like some of that Spider-Man Hulk Elsa stuff.
Oh, gross.
That keeps popping up. I don't know why that's a thing. I don't really get the mentality behind it. People will ship characters for weird reasons that I just don't understand, but that one in particular, like there's a lot of videos about just Spider-Man, Elsa, and the Hulk, and it's really weird sometimes, and I don't like it.
Okay.
What about the video of the dude laying on his stomach like, hey there, stranger?
Yeah, I was alright with that.
Do you have any like favorite like YouTubers or like comic YouTubers in general?
Not really. There's not really a whole lot of comic book YouTubers that I'm incredibly interested in. They're all kind of very flashy and they don't talk about things that I'm interested in at all. They're like, oh, modern comics or exclusively bad comics. And I'm just like, okay, but talk about the 90s. Shut up.
Talk about the good shit.
You ever hear of Captain Christian?
No.
He's a dude who does analysis videos, and he did a thing on the importance of Spawn and Image comics in the 90s, and it was really cool.
Yeah.
It was like the only positive video about the 90s I'd seen from like combing through all of like Movie Bob and stuff.
Well, if you wanted to talk about somebody with a more balanced perspective, even though I've kind of butted heads with him from time to time, you could have brought up, what are your thoughts on the Shadow line?
The Shadow line?
Well,
you mean like
Razor
Razorfist?
Shadow. Yeah, that's exactly what I was alluding to.
I don't read the Shadow comics, actually.
Oh, that's fine. There's not enough time in the day to cover everything.
Yeah.
Why are there so many good comics?
I am surprised that I don't read The Shadow as much as, like, because I like the movie, which I know is considerably bad compared to the comics. So you'd think I'd actually go and read the comics, but nah, I haven't really. The Shadow is like one of those comics where you don't quite know where to start. Yeah,
because they're like the pulps. Did you know that Orson Welles he actually wanted to make a Shadow movie?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Because the Shadow, is that the one with Samuel Jackson?
No, it was actually a canceled project that never got off the ground.
No, there was a Shadow movie.
Well, not one directed by Orson. I know there was one.
Yeah, I'm really bad with the actor's name. Pierce Brosnan was in it? I don't know. I might be wrong. I'm probably wrong. I'm horrible with names.
Oh, I got it. Speaking of superhero movies, have you seen like the really bad like Captain America, what's it called? Fantastic Four, one of the really early superhero movies.
I saw the early Fantastic Four many years ago. I I thought it was an actual thing, and then I watched it, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Once upon a time ago, Cameron, way before you were around, Marvel movie used to mean god-awful shit. I know that it's
DC movies sometimes meant that too. Steal anybody?
Yeah.
Alright, I got one. Do you read any webcomics?
I read many webcomics.
Name a couple.
Name them.
I like Backlash. I like Tethered Together. I like Silent Horror. I like a lot of stuff on Tapas, basically, which is a great site. You guys should check it out. There's a whole bunch of webcomics, and if you turn off your ad block, you can support the people who make the comics.
I got a good webcomic. If you like comics with like good backstories and vibrant colors, you should read The Property of Hate.
I do read The Property of Hate.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Now ask a question about that.
I was going to say, Jesus, I lost my thought there. What webcomics have you followed that have been discontinued that have bummed you out the most?
Most of the webcomics that I followed that went off the trails was back when I was on Drunk Duck, before Drunk Duck went through the grinder. People weren't terribly dedicated to their webcomics. They would kind of just veer off for months on end and not do anything. And to be fair, I eventually did veer off from Drunk Duck and never update my comics again, so I'm not much better. But I can't think of any in particular that I could name offhand. I remember one very vividly where some girl was in like this post-apocalyptic situation, and she was drawn inconsistently from page to page, but the coloring was really nicely done. And for some reason, I just vividly remember that she got her period in one of the comics, and it like showed everything. And I was like, huh, this is weird. This is different from what I am expecting.
I don't have anything to add to that.
Nasty.
Out of curiosity, Ponder, what would you say is one of your Achilles heels as an artist that you really need to work on?
Aside from coloring, probably speed. I'm not a terribly fast artist, especially when it comes to inking and keeping motivated for doing like sketching and stuff. Like, I'm working on a book, and I was supposed to have the book finished a year ago, and I'm only half done sketching the book. It's like 50 pages, and I'm on page like 25, and I don't even have the finished 25 sketch pages all inked and colored. So it's definitely speed.
What's the book about? Spoiler.
It's not really like spoilery, but like it's a fantasy book called Mecha and STEM, and it's basically about these strange, mysterious flowers that crop up out of the corpses of people who went insane right before they died. And when they did die, they spouted off these prophecies, and people believe that when the flowers bloom, the prophecies will come true. So there's like a whole bunch of people who are following the blooming paths of these flowers, trying to see the prophecies come true. And the story essentially follows two of these people after they meet up, and one of them is dragged along because it turns out that they might have a skill that will come in insanely helpful as the prophecies do start coming true.
That's pretty interesting. Okay, you're a Pokemon fan, right?
Not particularly.
Oh.
Thank God.
Like I am playing Sun right now, but that it's the first Pokemon game I've played in forever, and it's just because my boyfriend is amazing.
Oh.
There you go.
Really liked your those grimdark Pokemon drawings you did a while ago. You ever consider doing any more?
I'm considering doing 5 every year for Halloween.
That sounds pretty kick-ass.
What's your favorite holiday?
Halloween!
Oh, there you go.
Damn right.
You got any good Halloween memories?
Scaring children. I sat outside my house years ago. I wasn't quite not old enough to go trick-or-treating anymore, but you know how teenagers and preteens are always like, oh, I've hit 10, I'm too old to go trick-or-treating, blah, blah, blah. I stuck that out for about as long as I could, and then when I was, I think, 13 or 14, I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'll try staying home this year. And then, so I sat outside the house with a big dragon mask on my face and pretended to be a stuffed dummy. Like, we put straw in my sleeves to make me look stuffed. And I particularly remember this little kid came up to the door with her mom trailing behind her, and I leapt up from the chair, and her mom screamed and ran across the lawn with me chasing her.
Did she leave her kid behind?
Oh, yeah, she did. Her kid was still at the door.
What a good friend.
You know what? When we get to hell, first drink's on me.
Well, I guess speaking of drinks, do you have a favorite drink, Ponder?
I kind of just like mix vodka with what the fuck ever. Like vodka milkshakes are pretty good. My sister gave me a bunch of those, and I've always been a fan of screwdrivers because I can just down a bunch of those and not care. But I'm not a super avid drinker.
How old are you, Ponder?
In I think 12 days, I will be 25.
I feel like
asking.
such a fucking youngling.
Because you are.
Shut up, Keychi.
Shut up, Floofling.
Fight me.
Keychi has a habit of screwing with teenagers, and I was like, let's see if there's another teenager in the call. Guess not.
Nope, I am a young adults person.
I'm all alone.
You are all alone.
I'm gonna
Hey,
crunch
Ponder?
the
Don't worry, Fagatini. We'll put you in the kitty corner with Rainbow and Tommy Taco.
Good.
And Ninja.
Hey, Ponder, what's a metalloid?
A metalloid is what mecha is in Mecha and STEM, because, fun fact, despite the fact that there are many characters that look like it, robots do not exist in Mecha and STEM. They are something entirely different.
I take it you're an anime fan, yes?
To some extent. I watch anime basically like I watch any cartoon. It has to really entice me before I'll engage the plot.
Blue Exorcist.
I have not watched it.
Oh, Soul Eater.
I watched 3 episodes and then got bored.
Oh.
Good. Excellent taste. Anyways, Keychi,
You have a
would you like to
favorite?
ask your patented favorite show questions?
Beg pardon?
Oh, I was just asking Keychi, would you like to ask our guest about your favorite show?
How you feel about Steven Universe?
See, I was actually just watching a King of Limbo, and you were talking about Steven Universe, I think with the pedantic romantic, and I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know Keychi liked Steven Universe. Yeah, Steven
Actually
Universe is
do.
cool. I drew like keychains for all of the gems.
Well, look at
nice.
her avatar. You could clearly tell she's from Tumblr.
Yeah. I mean, even then, I also really enjoyed that one picture you made of Ruby and Sapphire kissing.
Oh, yeah,
Love me
the
them lesbian space rocks.
you were my first.
Like, oh my god, so pretty.
I have this thing where, like, when I'm drawing the gems, I have to draw them in a way that they actually have gem facets on them, because it looks more interesting, and I feel like it makes sense for them as characters.
It's pretty interesting. What do you like the recent episodes, or do you think, like, it's going downhill with, like, all the filler and stuff?
I am very much bored with the filler, but I'm okay with it. Like, I'll still watch the episodes, but I'm definitely more interested in the homeworld stuff. And I've only seen one teaser for the new Steven Bomb coming up, but according to my brother, it looks potentially all right.
Yeah.
I am potentially interested in the episode where I think Sadie goes missing. I don't know.
You got a favorite gem?
Maybe Peridot?
If you were a gem, what gem would you be?
Oh, I actually did a gem Sona thing. I'm Clintonite.
The fuck's Clintonite?
It's a gem.
For a second, I heard that completely wrong.
Is Clintonite telling us to Pokemon go to the polls?
Yes.
No, I heard something different.
Yeah, no, we
damn
got it,
Keychi.
Keychi. Yes,
You
don't give me more
nasty.
to edit. Jesus.
I'm Clitonite.
God damn it.
See, she said it.
Well, you kept goading her. Come on now.
I am not child friendly. I apologize.
Neither are we.
No.
Yeah, I did gem sonas for my boyfriend and I based on our personalities, so I was just going through like lists and lists of gems, and I was like, okay, this one fits. What the fuck is that name? Whatever. So I just did that, and I was like, all right, I'm cool with that.
Well,
I thought you were gonna go by birthstone.
No, my birthstone's like a pink emerald, and I don't care about that. Everybody goes with stone. I wanted to go by something that described my actual personality.
well, since we brought up Steven Universe, thank you, Cameron, or whoever, what did you think of the Bismuth episode?
Oh, sorry, I quite enjoyed it.
Okay.
I thought it was
Yeah.
good.
I keep
Yeah, it was
hearing
good.
the argument that I think Lily Pete started it, where they're like, "Oh, if you kill the monster, it doesn't make you a monster," and I'm just like, "No, shut the fuck up. You're dumb. You're
Good
dumb.
girl.
Stop.
Good.
An eye for an eye makes the world go blind. You fucking moron."
Yeah. That's why Bismuth's episode was the best portrayal of a well-intentioned extremist I've seen.
All right. Does anyone have anything else? Does Cameron
Yeah,
still have my
Ponder.
questions?
What the fuck is Sunflower?
Oh, Sunflower is an obscure Marvel character who died in the very same issue he was introduced.
What issue? Like, was he a villain of somebody?
No, when did he come about? He came about during the Marvel Zombies arc,
Oh, boy.
and I believe, was blast fried by a zombified Hyperion.
Was Black Lanterns better than the Marvel Zombie arc?
I would imagine.
As a stand-up, I like Marvel Zombies better. As a event, Black Lantern's better.
That's pretty cool.
You're going to have to do your own research there, Cameron. Woo! Well,
Oh, yeah.
go ahead.
But one more. What's the most enjoyable thing for you to draw out of curiosity? Like people, robots, weird creatures?
Comics.
Nice.
It doesn't have to be like about things in particular. I'll draw things that I have more interest in, and by far I have more interest in drawing stories with like robots, aliens, fantasy type stuff, horror. I love drawing horror, but just in general, I like drawing comic books.
So you'd be down with drawing, actually, I guess, like a panel commission, perhaps? That's what I'm thinking of here.
I've done comic commissions before.
Oh, okay. I might have to ask about that later in the future if I could remember.
Yeah. Also, Caden, if you're listening, the couch loves you.
What
Yes.
the hell?
Caden and
You need to leave Caden alone. He's a very delicate man. All right. I'm going to hit stop on my recording, and as well as you too, Dulce.